Have you ever wondered why some people achieve extraordinary success while others struggle all their lives? The difference lies not in luck, background, or talent. It lies in the way they think. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is not just a book. It is a blueprint for anyone who dares to dream big and turn those dreams into reality. Today we dive into Chapter 3, a chapter that reveals one of the most powerful tools you have, your own mind. You have within you a sleeping giant, your subconscious mind, and the key to awakening it, programming it, and directing it toward success is autosuggestion. It is the bridge between your conscious goals and your subconscious power. Napoleon Hill revealed in Chapter 3 of Think and Grow Rich that everything you desire, every vision you have, and every outcome you wish to experience must pass through this bridge. But it doesn't happen by accident. It happens by deliberate suggestion. You become what you continually say to yourself. If you repeatedly speak fear, you will live in fear. If you speak faith, courage, and success, your mind will begin to believe it. And once belief is established in your subconscious, your behavior will begin to change. Your energy will shift. Your focus will sharpen. Opportunities will begin to appear. Autosuggestion is not just wishful thinking. It is the engine of transformation. It is how you rewire the deepest part of who you are. Repetition is your greatest tool. The statements you say to yourself morning and night shape your mental blueprint. Autosuggestion allows you to take the desire planted in Chapter 1 and breathe life into it with faith. Then embed it deep into your subconscious so that your entire being begins to work toward its fulfillment. It is your voice training your mind to believe and achieve. Use it wisely. Practice it daily. And use it with unwavering belief. Autosuggestion is the invisible bridge between the conscious mind, where thoughts are deliberately formed, and the subconscious mind, where those thoughts take root and grow into reality. It is through this bridge that desires, ambitions, fears, and beliefs are transferred and become the guiding forces behind our actions and results. The conscious mind acts much like the gardener, carefully selecting which seeds to plant, while the subconscious mind is the fertile soil that nurtures and manifests those seeds into full bloom. Every thought repeated with feeling, every belief spoken with conviction crosses this communication line and settles deeply into the subconscious, where it begins to shape our behavior, our perception, and ultimately our destiny. This process does not discriminate between positive or negative inputs. It simply accepts whatever is fed to it repeatedly with emotional intensity. If we feed it faith, hope, and positive expectation, it responds by crafting a reality rich in opportunity and success. If we carelessly feed it doubt, fear, and failure, it produces a reality filled with obstacles and disappointment. The power of autosuggestion lies not just in casual affirmation, but in the deliberate and emotional repetition of chosen thoughts. It is this constant communication that teaches the subconscious mind what to accept as truth. It is not enough to merely think once about success or happiness. It must be impressed over and over until it becomes a natural part of the internal landscape. The communication line must be kept active and vibrant, flooded daily with the visions, beliefs, and goals we intend to realize. Autosuggestion gives us the remarkable ability to influence and retrain our deepest self, to challenge old limiting beliefs and to replace them with empowering new truths. Through repeated affirmations of worth, strength, ability, and victory, the subconscious accepts these statements as fact and begins to drive behavior in alignment with them. In moments of doubt or challenge, it is not the conscious mind that controls the reaction, but the subconscious programming that has been embedded through consistent autosuggestion. What we implant there through our daily suggestions becomes our automatic response to life. This understanding gives tremendous power to those who are willing to take responsibility for their inner dialogue. It means that no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenges, we can rewrite the story we tell ourselves. We can overwrite the old fears and failures with new narratives of courage and triumph. The conscious effort to speak success, to visualize achievement, and to affirm abundance is not wasted energy. It is the very process by which those realities come into existence. Autosuggestion is not magic. It is the scientific process of mental conditioning. Just as a bodybuilder transforms the body through repeated training, We transform the mind through repeated suggestion. Consistency, emotion, and clarity are the keys to ensuring that what we desire consciously becomes what we experience subconsciously and then outwardly. Every great achievement, every monumental success began first as a repeated thought, deliberately communicated from the conscious to the subconscious mind. The bridge of autosuggestion is always open, always listening, always ready to accept the seeds we choose to plant. The responsibility rests with us to guard our thoughts, choose our affirmations wisely, and nourish our subconscious with visions that empower and uplift. When we understand and apply the principle of autosuggestion, we no longer leave our destiny to chance or circumstance. Instead, we become active creators of our future, shaping it first in the invisible realm of the mind and then watching it unfold in the visible world. Repetition is the key to influence because the mind does not accept any idea instantly. It must be impressed upon it over and over until it becomes a natural part of thought. Just as a river carves a canyon not through force, but through constant flow, repetition wears deep grooves in the subconscious mind, shaping belief, behavior, and destiny. No one builds confidence, faith, or mastery through a single attempt. Greatness is the result of repeated affirmation, repeated effort, and repeated visualization. Every repeated thought becomes a command to the subconscious mind, gradually replacing old patterns with new convictions. The process of repetition transforms a mere wish into a burning desire and a fleeting hope into an unshakable certainty. The mind cannot resist what it is exposed to again and again with emotional force. Whether the repeated message is positive or negative, the subconscious accepts it without question and works tirelessly to bring it to reality. Understanding this, one must be very careful and deliberate about what is repeated internally day after day. A thought repeated without emotion may still eventually take hold, but a thought repeated with burning enthusiasm, vivid imagination, and total belief becomes deeply rooted much faster. Every successful individual has mastered the discipline of repeating their desired outcomes to themselves until doubt disappears and faith takes its place. Athletes visualize victory countless times before stepping onto the field. Entrepreneurs affirm their success even when the world shows them failure. Leaders speak words of confidence before results materialize. All of these examples highlight one universal truth. Repetition rewires the brain. Neural pathways are strengthened with each repetition, making new thoughts easier to believe and act upon. At first, affirmations may feel awkward, forced, or even unbelievable, but consistent repetition reshapes mental habits until new beliefs feel as natural as breathing. This is not wishful thinking, it is scientific conditioning. Just as muscles grow stronger through repeated exercise, the mind grows stronger through repeated focus on desired outcomes. And repetition also has the power to override deep-seated fears and limiting beliefs, formed over years or even decades. The negative conditioning of the past can be undone by consistent and intentional repetition of empowering truths. Every time a positive affirmation is repeated, it acts as a small hammer strike against the walls of doubt, chipping away the old to make room for the new. Over time, those walls crumble, and a new foundation of faith is built. Well, it is important to note that repetition is most effective when paired with intense feeling. Repeating empty words has little impact. Repeating words charged with emotion transforms them into living realities within the subconscious. Feeling is the fuel that drives repetition deep into the core of the mind, anchoring it securely where it can grow and manifest. The secret of mastering repetition lies in persistence. Most people give up too soon, expecting immediate results after a few days or even weeks. True transformation requires months of consistent repetition, day after day, morning and night, until the desired belief or outcome becomes second nature. Persistence in repetition separates those who merely wish from those who achieve. They may resist at first, clinging to old patterns, but through relentless repetition, even the most stubborn beliefs can be replaced. Repetition is not a one-time event, but a lifestyle, a daily practice that molds thought, attitude, and behavior over time. When understood and applied, repetition becomes one of the most powerful tools for self-mastery and success. Every word spoken to oneself, every vision held, every affirmation declared is a building block of the future. Through repetition, thoughts are transformed into beliefs, beliefs into actions, and actions into results. The law is simple yet profound. What you feed your mind repeatedly with feeling and conviction, you will inevitably experience in your reality. Master repetition, and you master influence over yourself, over your circumstances, and over your destiny. Emotion fuels belief because it is the emotional charge behind a thought that gives it life, depth, and permanence in the subconscious mind. Without emotion, words are empty, visions are weak, and affirmations are powerless to bring about real change. When a thought is combined with intense feeling, it penetrates deeper into the subconscious and becomes part of who we are. Emotion acts as the fire that forges belief from raw thought, turning simple ideas into powerful convictions that can move mountains. It is not enough to merely repeat positive statements. One must feel the truth of those statements with every fiber of their being. This emotional involvement makes the difference between shallow, temporary changes and profound, lasting transformation. Belief that is merely intellectual will falter in the face of adversity, but belief that has been soaked in strong emotion will endure and triumph. Every great achievement in history has been driven by individuals who not only believed in their dreams, but felt their success so vividly that it became inevitable. They could see it, hear it, taste it, and feel it within themselves long before it was visible to the world. This powerful emotional experience created a reality inside them that was even stronger than the external circumstances they faced. Through the molten fuel of faith, desire, and determination, they shaped their outer world to match the vivid world they had already created within. Emotion transforms belief from a fragile wish into an unstoppable force. A person who feels deep, burning conviction about their goal will act in ways that someone with mere hope never will. They will persist longer, work harder, endure more setbacks, and find creative solutions where others see dead ends. The emotional aspect behind their belief becomes a magnetic force that draws opportunities, resources, and support. The subconscious mind responds best not to cold, detached thoughts, but to thoughts charged with passion, excitement, gratitude, and unwavering certainty. These emotions create a vivid imprint on the mind that repetition alone cannot achieve. The more emotion one can associate with their vision, the faster the subconscious accepts it as reality and begins to orchestrate its fulfillment. Just as heat speeds up chemical reactions, emotional energy accelerates mental transformation. Now, when visualization is infused with strong emotion, it becomes a living experience rather than a distant fantasy. The mind cannot distinguish between a real event and a vividly imagined one soaked in emotion, and so it begins to align thoughts, actions, and habits toward making that experience a physical reality. Fear, doubt, and negativity also gain their strength from emotion, which is why it is critical to direct emotional energy consciously and constructively. Feeding fear with emotion builds belief in failure, just as surely as feeding faith with emotion builds belief in success. Therefore, mastering emotion is not about suppressing it, but about channeling it deliberately toward visions and affirmations that empower rather than destroy. This requires awareness, discipline, and daily practice. It requires choosing to feel excited about possibilities rather than fearful of obstacles, to feel grateful for progress rather than discouraged by setbacks, and to feel victorious before the victory has manifested. The great secret is that one can choose their emotions by choosing their focus. Focus on the joy of achievement, and the heart will swell with passion. Focus on the beauty of the goal, and enthusiasm will rise. Focus on gratitude for what is already present, and a powerful foundation of faith will form. Emotion is the water that nourishes the seeds planted by thought. Without it, the seeds dry up and die. With it, they flourish and grow into the towering trees of realized dreams. Emotion is the secret ingredient that makes belief unstoppable. When a person feels their success before it happens, they align themselves with unseen forces that work tirelessly to bring that vision to life. In every affirmation, every visualization, every spoken word about your dreams, infuse emotion, and you will ignite the hidden power that turns belief into achievement. Negative autosuggestions are just as powerful because the subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is good or bad, helpful or harmful. It simply accepts what is repeated with emotion and consistency. Just as positive affirmations can build confidence, courage, and success, Negative autosuggestions can strengthen fear, doubt, and failure. Every time a person tells themselves they are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable, they are planting seeds in their subconscious that will grow into barriers against achievement. These negative thoughts, when repeated over time with feeling, become deeply ingrained beliefs that govern behavior and set the boundaries of what a person believes is possible for them. The subconscious mind, being obedient and non-judgmental, works to make these limiting beliefs a reality, aligning thoughts, actions, and decisions in ways that fulfill the negative programming. Many people are trapped not by external circumstances, but by the negative autosuggestions they have accepted over years of self-talk and external influence. These suggestions may have started as passing thoughts or words from others, but through repetition and emotional reinforcement, they became the silent forces steering lives away from potential. Negative autosuggestions are subtle yet powerful because they often operate below the level of conscious awareness. A person might outwardly desire success, but inwardly believe they are destined to fail because of the repeated internal messages they have accepted. This internal conflict creates self-sabotage, hesitation, and fear-driven behavior that undermines effort and blocks opportunity. The mind is always listening, always recording, and always responding to the messages it receives. Every complaint, every expression of self-doubt, every fearful thought strengthens the neural pathways associated with failure and limitation. Over time, these pathways become the dominant patterns of thinking, making it harder to see opportunities, take risks, or believe in one's own power. Just as muscles grow stronger through repeated use, negative belief systems grow stronger through repeated negative autosuggestion. If left unchecked, these internal narratives can completely shape a person's identity and reality, trapping them in cycles of mediocrity and frustration. Understanding the power of negative autosuggestion is critical because it highlights the need for vigilance in self-talk. Every word spoken internally or externally about oneself carries the weight of influence. Careless words and thoughts are not harmless. They are the building blocks of future experiences. By becoming aware of negative autosuggestions, one can begin to challenge and replace them with positive, empowering alternatives. This requires conscious effort, persistence, and emotional involvement. It is not enough to simply suppress negative thoughts. They must be actively replaced with new affirmations that are repeated with conviction and emotion until they become the new dominant patterns. Negative autosuggestions often thrive in moments of weakness, failure, or criticism. In these moments, the mind is vulnerable and more likely to accept negative programming. Recognizing these moments and responding with deliberate, positive autosuggestion is a critical practice. When failure whispers you are not enough, the conscious mind must counter with a louder, emotionally charged affirmation of worth and ability. When fear says you cannot succeed, the response must be a vivid, heartfelt declaration of inevitable triumph. Over time, this conscious reprogramming shifts the balance of power from negative to positive within the subconscious mind. The truth is that the mind will be programmed one way or another. It is never neutral. The choice lies in whether it will be programmed by default with fear, doubt, and limitation, or by design with faith, courage, and possibility. Negative autosuggestions are powerful, but they are not unstoppable. With awareness, intention, and emotional energy, anyone can reclaim control over their internal dialogue and transform their belief. Every thought matters, every word matters, and every repeated message matters. By guarding the mind and feeding it only that which uplifts and empowers, one can turn the tide of negative autosuggestion and build a foundation for extraordinary achievement. Your mind becomes what you feed it, because every thought, image, word, and feeling you allow into your consciousness shapes the reality you experience. The mind is incredibly powerful, but it is also incredibly impressionable. It takes in what you consistently offer it and begins to mold your beliefs, attitudes, and actions based on that input. If you feed it thoughts of success, abundance, courage, and possibility, it will start to believe in those ideas and act upon them. Conversely, if you constantly feed it fear, doubt, anger, and limitation, it will internalize those messages and create a life that reflects them. The mind is like fertile soil that does not care what kind of seed you plant. It will return whatever you sow. Plant weeds of negativity, and you will harvest a life of frustration and failure. Plant seeds of faith and perseverance, and you will harvest a life rich with success and fulfillment. Every book you read, every conversation you engage in, every piece of media you consume, and every thought you entertain is either strengthening or weakening your mind. It is either pushing you closer to your dreams or pulling you away from them. There's no neutral ground because the mind is always absorbing and adapting. Just as your body reflects the food you consume over time, your mind and spirit reflect the thoughts you dwell on. Most people do not realize how much control they have over their mental diet. They allow negativity to enter unchecked, believing that it has little or no effect, when in reality, each small negative impression leaves a mark that accumulates over time. Eventually, these impressions shape a person's outlook, emotional state, decisions, and destiny. To master your mind, you must become the gatekeeper of what you allow into it. Vigilance is essential. You must guard against negative influences just as fiercely as you would guard against poison entering your body. This means being selective about the people you associate with, the content you consume, and the internal dialogue you maintain. It means refusing to let fear-based news, gossip, cynicism, and toxic conversations take root in your consciousness. Instead, it means seeking out inspiration, wisdom, knowledge, encouragement, and truth. It means deliberately feeding your mind the kind of thoughts and ideas that build strength, hope, creativity, and resilience. The mind cannot consistently think positive, empowering thoughts unless it is fed positive, empowering material on a daily basis. This is why repetition of affirmations, visualization of goals, immersion in uplifting literature, and association with positive individuals are all critical practices. They are not just good habits, they are survival strategies for anyone who aspires to live beyond mediocrity. What you feed your mind today determines the beliefs you hold tomorrow and the reality you create in the days and years ahead. Every word you speak to yourself, every dream you visualize, and every emotion you attach to your thoughts is like a meal your mind consumes and metabolizes into results. The truth is simple but profound. Garbage in, garbage out. Greatness in, greatness out. You cannot expect a rich and fulfilling life if you constantly feed your mind with thoughts of lack, fear, and defeat. But if you nourish it with visions of triumph, stories of perseverance, declarations of power, and daily reminders of your worth and potential, you begin to reshape the very structure of your thinking. Over time, this reshaped thinking becomes habitual, natural, and automatic. You do not have to struggle to believe. Belief flows effortlessly because it has become the default programming of your mind. Feeding your mind wisely is a daily commitment. It is not a one-time act, but a way of life. Just as physical fitness requires consistent exercise and healthy eating, mental fitness requires consistent exposure to uplifting, challenging, and empowering ideas. You must train your mind to see opportunity where others see obstacles, to feel gratitude where others feel resentment, to take action where others hesitate. You become what you consistently feed yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Choose your mental diet as carefully as you would choose the food you put into your body, because your entire future depends on it. The written and spoken word have power because they are the instruments through which ideas, emotions, and beliefs are transmitted from one mind to another, shaping perceptions and realities. Every time we write or speak, we are not just sharing information. We are creating energy that can inspire, uplift, and transform both ourselves and those who receive our message. Words carry meaning and can be used to build bridges of understanding or erect walls of division. And the impact of language resonates far beyond its immediate delivery. When expressed with intention and emotion, a single sentence can change a life, spark a movement, or shift the trajectory of an entire community. Throughout history, the written word has been the cornerstone of human progress. Ancient scrolls, manuscripts, and texts have preserved wisdom and knowledge, allowing ideas to travel across generations. These texts have inspired revolutions, built nations, and fostered cultural identities. The power of writing lies in its permanence. Once a thought is set down on paper or typed into a digital document, it can be revisited, shared, and built upon. This tangibility gives written words an enduring legacy. They become part of the collective memory of humanity, influencing countless individuals long after the author has passed. With every word, we imprint our values, dreams, and observations onto the tapestry of time. Similarly, the spoken word carries an immediacy and intimacy that written language sometimes cannot match. When words are spoken, they are imbued with tone, inflection, and emotion, creating a dynamic connection between the speaker and the listener. The sound of a voice can comfort, motivate, and energize in ways that transcend the literal meaning of the words. Think of the rousing speeches by leaders who have mobilized entire populations, or the encouraging words shared by a mentor or friend that have spurred someone to achieve beyond their imagined limits. Spoken words have the unique ability to breathe life into ideas in real time, creating a shared experience that can lead to collective action and emotional healing. The power of both the written and spoken word is magnified when they are used in tandem. When an idea is recorded in writing and then communicated verbally with passion and clarity, it reinforces the message on multiple levels. This dual channel of communication not only strengthens the concept, but also increases its likelihood of being internalized and acted upon. Repeated exposure to key messages, whether through reading or listening, creates neural pathways in the brain that facilitate belief and influence. This is why coaches, educators, and motivational speakers emphasize the importance of affirmations and regular positive reinforcement. Every time these words are repeated, they become more deeply embedded in the listener's consciousness. Moreover, the impact of language is not solely dependent on its content, but also on the context and the intention behind it. Words can be wielded as weapons or as tools for construction. When used with malicious intent, they can cause harm, spread misinformation, and instill fear. Conversely, when words are chosen with care and sincerity, they can heal wounds, mend relationships, and pave the way for innovation and progress. The dynamic nature of language allows it to mirror our inner state, acting as both a reflection and a catalyst for change. By choosing empowering words and speaking them with conviction, we can reshape our internal narrative and, by extension, our external reality. Understanding the power of the written and spoken word invites us to be more intentional about how we communicate. Every choice of vocabulary, every sentence structured, and every conversation held has the potential to influence outcomes in our personal lives and across society. When we harness this power, we can break down barriers of doubt and fear, replacing them with bridges of hope and pathways to achievement. Every word you speak or write holds the potential to shape your destiny and the destiny of those around you. Recognizing the immense power of language allows you to become intentional in your communication, using your words as tools to build a future filled with hope, confidence, and success. The thoughts you consistently express will take root in your subconscious mind and begin to influence your actions, habits, and the circumstances you attract into your life. By choosing your words carefully and speaking with faith and conviction, you empower yourself to rise above limitations and to create a vision of life that aligns with your highest aspirations. Underestimate the influence of a single encouraging word, a heartfelt affirmation, or a clear declaration of purpose. These simple acts of communication have the strength to shift your mindset, fuel your perseverance, and ignite the fire of belief within you. Speak your dreams into existence, write your goals with passion, and affirm your abilities with unwavering confidence. Let your words become the seeds of greatness that blossom into a life of abundance and achievement. The power is already in your hands and your voice. All that remains is for you to use it boldly, consistently, and purposefully. This was Chapter 3. To continue the journey with us, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.